Okay. All right, it looks like it's working. All right, this is what I'm going to try to do today. It will be a short video. Some of you like short videos, some of you like longer videos. But today, the reason it's going to be short is if I don't keep it short, then it's going to be too long. It's on a subject which is incredibly complicated. Okay. On top of that, we do not know the accuracy of this information. This information it's not disinformation, it is this information. Comes from multiple sources. But again, you have to remember that the information that we have on this planet is distorted to the highest imaginable levels, and not to show them as superior, but because of their genetic modifications on us, on humanity, the people who modified the records and falsified everything, distorted everything, has really high IQs, okay? Much higher than ours. We are talking like 600, 800 kind of IQs, and there are a lot of them. A huge manpower, financial power, everything that you can imagine. That's why the planet, our planet, is in this shape. And I cannot remember everything because they modified me as well, of course. But I do feel that the reason most probably I went into onto the journey of becoming one with the Supreme Creator, and seeing all the negative things that my family did on this planet was the main motivator for me to stay behind and then protect as much as I can humanity and tell them the real story of this planet. And that's why I have been awakened, no matter how much they limited the genes of humans, because I am human at this moment. I was human as well before. I have a very, very mixed background when you look at the genealogy, but then I was made into an archangel because of my prayers, because of my help to everybody, and I was sent back as consciousness to be awakened at this time, because that's the way it is, that's the way the universe works, because they didn't fulfill the agreement. The agreement was my half-brother Marduk was supposed to give control back to humans and keep the peace on this planet. Of course, he didn't do it, and he had to do it by 2012, actually even earlier than that, but he didn't do it, and the situation got into such a complex environment. Now we have so many different parties involved and so much misinformation, and more than misinformation, there is so much disinformation. And because of this, we cannot be sure about anything. That's why I do not trust anybody who does not show themselves openly to humanity. Okay, just a second. Little drink. So what I'm trying to do is to visualize for everybody the complex situation and why it is complex. If you have a big family, if you come from like Italian, Eastern European, Greek, Russian, Slovak, any kind of family, like knit family style background, you will know it's very complicated. One day, certain relatives can be at peace, and another day they can be at war with each other. So the situation here, what you're going to see is actually the source of all the kingdoms and the empires on Earth, because the system that they copied is the same. They used it on human environments because that's what they know. All right. I'm going to show you most probably the strangest family tree you will ever see. Okay, and it's not complete by any means, but I wanted to show something before I wait for it to be complete, because it might never get completely done. It's such a complex mess. It's difficult to imagine that this is going to be completely finished. So let's start. Ta-da! I have to share my screen. And there we go. Okay, so what is this? This is a genealogy software, okay? One of the best ones that you can get. This is the iPad version, but the iPad version is exactly same power as desktop version. Let's start. And there is a story, of course, behind this. I have to go top. The easiest way to do that is to go to the first king of Nibiru. All right. So there's so many branches of this family tree, it's impossible to show everything properly on a small screen. I can make it smaller, but then it's going to be nearly impossible for you to see. So let's, well, it does maximum 5 or 6 levels, I guess, at the same time. So once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, the story starts on a planet called, as some say, Nibiru. Okay, so that's one thing. And the king, the first king, unified the planet because there was a war between the south and north, and they nuked each other. They messed up the environment of their planet, obviously. And there was a truce, and the part who won, actually, the stalemate, married the daughter of the losing part to create a joint family so that there won't be any more wars. And that is the first king of Nibiru, called An. All right, that is where our story starts and continues. It's a long story. This is where I'm 100% sure George Lucas got the ideas of the Star Wars series. So, some of the kings' names I still haven't discovered by generation. There are a couple of names missing, okay? So bear with me with that. After An, and you have to understand this is a patriarchal system. It's like the British royal family. Mostly the British royal family is made after this. So we have the second generation king, and then there are multiple children, of course. And then there's another line which didn't become king, and the youngest son of An was Enuru. And now we are following this at the same level. We come to the third generation. We still do not know this king's name, and we also do not know who is the first generation from Enuru. And then when we continue, when we reach the fourth level of kings, we know the name is, it's going to be difficult to properly pronounce this. Anshurgal, I guess. Okay, so that is the fourth generation from An, and this is the king of Nibiru. At the same time, the same generation equals to the second generation from Enuru. And then we go one level down. Now it's going to get even more complex, because the first generation from Anshurgal, we do not know the name, but then there is the king also. So there are multiple children, as you can see. One of them became king, the fifth king, okay? And since they have now multiple male children, we are continuing. So from Enuru's side now, we are on the fourth generation from Enuru. From Anshurgal, we are at the second generation, who is not king, but also there is the sixth king coming from An, who is called Anshar. Does the name ring a bell? It's very similar to something. Anshar command, commander Anshar. Yeah, let's see. So now from here down, we have to choose a branch. This is how it works, because it's too complex. Let's continue from the king's line, okay? The sixth king, who is Anshar, let's focus on that. And as you can see, it's actually bringing as much as it can, the software, together. So now we are looking at Anshar, and then from Anshar there is the seventh king, Duru, and from Duru there is the eighth king, which is called Lahma, and his wife was Lamaha. So now continuing from the king's lineage, now we are at the eighth king. And okay, I know what happened here. Nothing comes from Lahma's lineage, so we have to go back. Now we go back to the fourth generation king, Anshurgal. Remember, it was going like the fifth king, and then the sixth king, seventh king, eighth king. but the eighth king, it stops there. We had to switch to the other son coming from Anshurgal, and that's the first generation, second generation, third generation, and then now we are getting close to what we are going to discuss. Comes to King Alalu, okay? And at this point, the story is important. If you remember, if you go back, here, King Brahma, okay, was actually not competent ruler and was challenged by King Alalu. And King Alalu actually defeated him and then became the king. Okay? And at the same time, there was another descendant, if you remember, that comes from the youngest son of the first king, Enur. And then let's see what happens. First generation, second generation, third, fourth, fifth, still no king from this line. And then, yeah, we are getting somewhere. Okay. Now, if you remember from the other end, there was King Alalu, okay? I'm going to focus on Anu right now. On the other side, there was King Alalu. As King Alalu did to his predecessor, same thing happened with Anu. Anu said Alalu is not fit to rule, so he actually, there is a law, Niburian law, which is a crown prince can challenge the king to a wrestling match, which is basically made completely naked. Reminds me of a Turkish tradition that the wrestlers are bathed in complete olive oil, and they only wear very tight shorts, nothing else. So you can imagine, like, it's completely like sliding over, and where do you put your hand and how do you hold the other person? It's done every year. Interesting, because this is very similar, except this one was completely naked. So Anu beats Alalu, becomes king, but at that time they made a deal. Alalu said, let me stay as king, and I will actually give your son my daughter, so that our lineage continues like that, so there won't be any more wars. Thinking about the future of the planet, Anu agrees to it. So basically he's not going to be king, but his son is going to be king when Alalu leaves the throne. So he says okay, and his oldest son, Enki, marries the daughter of Alalu, who is Damkina. And but Alalu do not keep his promises. He basically treats Anu as a cupbearer, a servant, instead of like a crown prince. And Anu challenges Alulu a second time, and then defeats him again, and then he leaves the planet. The story of that King Alulu's leaving Nibiru is interesting, but it's for another time, because he is the first Nibirian to come to planet Earth. Okay? Then he escaped from Nibiru. Now, we are relying on the ancient texts that come from Sumer. So, it's a nice story, and it's very complicated story. Hopefully, we get most of it correct. Let's continue. And then we have King Anu with his family. If you concentrate on Damkina, we are going to see that she is the descendant of Alulu, and then marries Enki, and oh my God, they have a son called Marduk, my half brother, and he is the he is the menace that nobody else can match. Yeah, the most destructive and most power-lusty being ever existed. The profile of Satan is actually designed after his traits. Anyways, so we have here King Anu's lineage merging with King Alulu's lineage, and we end up with Enki and Damkina's son Marduk. Now Marduk, you're going to see, has a different, very different lineage than anybody else of the Anunnaki on this planet. Okay? The reason for that is he comes from the King Alulu's line, and he also comes from King Anu's line as well. So they go from two different lines, lineages, to two brothers of King Anu, the first king. And because King Alulu lost his position twice actually to King Anu, even though King Anu is Marduk's grandfather, because King Anu is Marduk's father, Enki's father. On the other side, on the mother side, he has King Alulu as grandfather. And which one does he choose? Well, the one that does not challenge his authority. So he chooses the Alulu's side, King Alulu's side. So that's why he does not want anybody from Anu's lineage other than himself, because he's also from Anu's lineage. But he also carries genes from Alulu, so he thinks that he is the perfect ruler for both Earth and Nibiru. All right? So that's the background for it. Now, let's switch back to King Anu. Okay. Now, most of the names here that you are seeing have different names in Earth mythology. Ancient Sumerian, ancient Egyptian, ancient Greek, like the names are very, very different. I will tell you as much as I can in this broadcast, but it will continue. This is going to be a very long process. It's not easy. So, King Anu had two sons, okay? Enki and Enlil. Enki marries the daughter of Lulu, Damkina, and has a son called Marduk, okay? At the same time, and this is going to get very, very confusing, but marries Ereshkigal. Now, who is Ereshkigal? Let's have a look, because I forget these as well. Ereshkigal is the daughter of Nannar and Ningal. And where are their lineage coming from? So Ningal is actually the daughter of Enki and Ningikuga. So it looks like Enki also mated with his granddaughter. Enki was quite the player. As you can see, Enki is here like as depicted as a ghost, but also here. And Ereshkigal, Enki's granddaughter, and Enki has a son. And guess who that is? Yours truly, me. Okay? Ningisizda. I don't even know if I am saying my name correctly, but I mean, father, mother, you could have given an easier name like Thoth or Hermes or Metatron, right? Eventually I get all of those names as well, including Enoch and Nikola Tesla, Jim Morrison, Tony Houston, the list goes on. So if you look at the situation, there are like really interesting things here, like reports. If we go to reports, if we go to a person report, for example, and let's have a look at my report, okay? So it's like there's the other names and the parents and the ancestors as generations, okay? And there is even a narrative, like his parents were Enki and Ereshkigal. It just shows it like that. It shows Marduk as my half-brother, Ningal as half-sister, Enki father, Ereshkigal mother, grandparents, Anu, Nanna. Yeah, the funny thing is, I have two grandfathers, but one of my grandfather is also related to my other grandfather. It gets incredibly complicated, okay? It's funny, actually, quite funny. I'm going to just pass the great-grandparents and yeah, because my father and my uncle are also my great-great-grandfathers. Sorry, great-grandfathers. And Anu, at the same time, like he is my grandfather, but also second great-grandfather. And listen to this. My mother, Ereshkigal, is also my niece because of this family structure. it's strange. Oh, and Marduk is also my great uncle, who is also my half brother. And yeah, the list goes on. I mean, it's again, like my mother is second cousin once removed up, and also first cousin once removed as well at the same time. And Marduk is also my first cousin twice removed up. It's crazy. There was other reports here which were interesting as well. I think this is part of the same list, but in more detail. Yeah, it's the same thing in more detail. And this one is also another type of report. It's more narrative. Like it says, my parents were Enki and Ereshkigal, and it's second generation. This is ancestors, right? Yeah, ancestors. And now it's talking about my father, whose father was King Anu. His biological mother is unknown because I haven't entered it. I have to find it and enter it as well. His only sister was Ninma, which he had multiple daughters as well. Those are not also here too, yet. And his official partner was Damkina, and his partner was Ereshkigal, which is also Damkina's daughter, which is his granddaughter. He has one son with Damkina, which is Marduk. He had one son with Ereshkigal, which is me, Ningishsizda, and had one daughter with Ningikuga, which is Ningal. So this goes on. As you can see, how confusing that this will get. But let's go back to the map. Now, the story on this planet starts mostly with Alalus coming to here as the first person. He crashes into the Middle East, somewhere near I keep forgetting the names. It's the oh my god, I have to look it up. Sorry, so many different names, I keep forgetting them. Okay, it's the Gulf region, and it's a city in Iraq called Basra. Okay, that's the name, Basra. And in today's Iraq, it's near just at the beginning of the Gulf, the Middle East Gulf. So Persian Gulf. Now the name is Persian Gulf, but in those days, I guess it was Basra Gulf or something like that. Anyways, so he crashes down there, and he actually starts looking for gold because Nibiru needs gold. He has in his mind, if he actually can find gold on this planet, then he can maybe get his kingship back from Anu. by helping Niburians. So maybe they will again elect him or just favor him as the legitimate king. And then Anu sends his son Enki to Earth as well. And then they meet with Alulu, and then the terraforming and basically building cities for themselves at that moment, building mining infrastructures, and so on and so forth starts. On the way to Earth, Enki actually first has to stop on Mars because of the overheating of his spaceship engines. See the details? Crazy, huh? And he lands actually on a lake and then uses the fresh water to cool down the engines. The water is also drinkable, it's safe, but the air is not thick enough for regular breathing, so that's why they put their eagle helmets on, and because it has its breathing apparatus inside, basically their mixture of proper air. As a side note. So then they continue from there to Earth. It's important because Mars becomes a way station to our planet. I don't know the reason. I am guessing from the things that I have researched that the atmosphere on Mars, being much thinner than Earth, made it an easier approach for spaceships to land. And it required less energy to leave as well at the same time. So it became a way station. And in later days, it was actually had some catastrophes on Mars, again related to wars, nothing else. And then they had to use the moon as a way station. So we're talking thousands and thousands of years ago. This is not basically the ancient Sumerian timeline. I mean, we are not talking about 3000 BC. We are talking hundreds and thousands of years, like really, really in the past. The Sumerian texts are actually the retelling of the story of more than 500,000 years ago. Okay, so when I tell people that I am older than 1,000,000 years old, people are like, yeah, but the Anunnaki, according to the Sumerian text, it should be like 3,000, 5,000 maximum BC. No, it's not like that. That's actually one of the distortions that my half-brother Marduk made, so that humans will never remember their true past. All right, and the cat is out of the bag. All right, and one of them is behind me, I guess. Yeah, she's sleeping behind me, and she complains because it's really late, like 4 a.m. in the morning. She wants to go to bed, but for that I have to go as well, because she wants to sleep together. My only friend. Interesting things are happening on this planet these days, things that I cannot explain. Soon, I'm hoping. Soon. Anyways, so what happens on this planet is they continue basically having children, and then the families intermingle, and everything comes to the point that everybody, all the crown princes and princesses, they want a piece of land. They want something, because they are staying on planet Earth, nobody wants to go back to Nibiru because it has its atmospheric problems. They are fixing it with the gold that they are taking from here and distributing the nano-gold particles in their atmosphere to again rebuild their protection shield against radiation. But meanwhile, this is heaven. I mean, the diversity of the plants, the animals, and everything, and proximity of other trade routes, and it's perfect planet actually. And it's normally protected by the asteroid belt, so not too many ETs will travel here at that moment. There are, of course, the stargates and other kind of portals as well, but they were not using it at that time, I believe. The families multiply, they grow, and again, certain promises were made, but they were not kept. There is also the rivalry between Enlil and Enki, the sons of Anu, because Enki is actually older than Enlil, but he's from Porcupine, which is basically not the official wife of King Anu. And even though he is older, Enlil is entitled to the crown. But Anu knows that Enlil is not fit. Okay, that was interesting. You are now watching Metatron.tv. I think I left the YouTube in the background. So, Enlil was supposed to get the crown, but Anu knows that he is not fit to rule because he is not a very nice person, basically. He messed up so many things, power hungry and manipulative, no compassion. Yeah. One of those ones, unfortunately. On the other side, my father, Enki, he was okay. He was compassionate. He loved life. Loved females a little bit too much. Other than that, he was a very good person. He is a good person. They are all alive, by the way. None of them are dead. They don't die. Not easily. Very, very difficult. They can be revived with technology quite easily. And what is dying anyways? The consciousness lives forever. That's another story. But regardless, so he cannot choose between Enlil and Enki, and that creates a stalemate between the brothers. And they fight for authority. And so many stories, some of them I already told, some of them I will tell later. Eventually I will tell you everything, all the details, like nothing will be kept hidden. I believe in full disclosure. Nobody should be kept from the truth. Whatever the truth is, everybody should know about it. It's important. Otherwise, people cannot make educated decisions. It will be not fair. It won't be fair. So these two brothers are fighting for different parts of Earth and different responsibilities. And it's not just them, it's their sons and daughters as well. And certain times they actually create alliances between them, and certain times they fight with each of them, with each other. And at some point they also use nuclear weapons as well. So nuclear weapons were used on this planet much earlier. It's not the humans who actually first used them. And by the way, humans did not just by themselves invent nuclear weapons as well. It was with the help of ETs. The Greys and specific Nordic race actually helped Americans. Second World War was not just between humans, it was between 4 different ET races as well. That's another story. So we come to the point of Marduk basically maintaining his grasp on Earth by favoring the slaves against the Anunnaki, plus also favoring the Niburian slaves called the Igigi, which were responsible for managing the mining station on Mars. And when Marduk married, when in his wedding, he married a super slave, half-breed, hybrid woman on Earth, even though he was warned that he can never come back to Nibiru for the crown by Anu. He said basically, fuck it, I will never be able to do that. You are never going to allow me to do that. You are never also going to allow me to do whatever I want on Earth as well. You never keep your promises. Nobody keeps their promises. And he says, I will continue with my plan of marriage of this hybrid Earth woman, half Niburian, half Earth human. And he invites the mining facility people from Mars. A large number of Igigi comes to, as far as I can remember, the wedding was in Lebanon, today's Lebanon. They come as well as guests. But either if it was planned before or it happened spontaneously, I do not know. The Igigi takes Earth woman and rapes them, and then tells Marduk to allow them to keep the woman as their wives, or they will nuke Earth from the orbit, from their ships. So Marduk calls Anu, and Anu will have to agree. Not happy, but then the Igigi starts having kids with the Earth woman, and the result is the giants, the Nephilim. Gilgamesh is one of them, the famous one. So that is how it happens. Again, power games. I don't know at which point Anu decided to give the control of Nibiru to a descendant. But remember, I was telling you that he couldn't decide between Enki and Enlil. And if you look at this chart, there are not that many people which actually descend from both sons of Anu. Okay? And I am basically one of them. So he says, he offers the crown to me of Nibiru. And this is what we learn from the text. It's not something that I am telling from my remembrance of the memory. I wish I could at this moment remember those days. It will be quite interesting to tell you the details. But apparently, as consistent as with my personality, my nature, and the historical records for the other personalities as I lived on planet Earth, I never looked for power. I actually avoided it. If you look at as Enoch, just basically I was a messenger between the Nephilim and the gods. I know it doesn't fit completely, but bear with me because we are relying on the texts that were manipulated. That actually should have happened during the Atlantean times, because during the Atlantean times, I became very spiritual and followed that path, completely distancing myself from the power games. I was never interested as in power during the ancient Egyptian times, because if you look at the Egyptian pantheon, the Egyptian mythology, the kings, I never became one of the rulers. Yes, they called me a god as well, but I was the god of knowledge. It was also told in the story of Enoch becoming Metatron, which is me. After Enoch is made the top archangel, the same story is depicted in Thoth's emerald tablets as well. When Thoth becomes accepted to the highest honor, God asks basically, what do you want to do? You choose your own duty. And I say, I want to stay on planet Earth and to protect and to educate humans. So that's why I stayed. And remember, this is also a story because with my current knowledge, my current reasoning, I'm 100% sure when God asked me what I want to do, it was not the one supreme creator. Okay? In all of these explanations, in all of these tales, there are different levels of ETs, not just in Anunnaki, they're from different races, from the galaxy and from other galaxies and from other universes as well. It's not just one universe, there is multiverse. So in the hierarchy of the spiritual hierarchy, there are other beings who act as the intermediary between the universes, I will call it, because the Godhead, as we would call, as the representation of the one supreme creator, let's say in a super universe, super heaven kind of a place, and then underneath there is a structure. And as far as I know, each universe has its own top archangel, let's put it that way. And the hierarchy above me gave me this universe basically to oversee, to watch over and continue the deities, the planets and the stars. They do not just do their own thing. There is maintenance of the universe, let's put it that way, that archangels are responsible for. I am so happy that I chose that route instead of this family's power games. But it brings us to today, because I have to say something. So grandfather King Anu offers me the crown because he says, well, you're just or whatever nice things that grandfather said. Thank you, grandpa. But I said, no, thank you, because of the power games. And I said, instead of me, why don't you consider Nannar, who is also a grandfather for me from my mother's side, from Eşkigal side. Complicated. But Nannar was already in communication with the humans on planet Earth, and he was also respected back at Nibiru. And he also had multiple connections to all the parts of the family. So I recommended him, and apparently he took my advice and made Nannar the next king of Nibiru. I don't know exactly how many thousands of years ago that was, and who still runs Nibiru at this moment, I do not know. But we will learn very soon. Maximum, I would say, 3 years. There is a calculation. I will tell later on. Again, I told it in some of my videos, but it's also in my book too. There is a specific mathematical timeline that we are in, and it ends at the end of 2023, just extended to 2024, just a bit. So anyways, in these next 3 years, everything is going to get sorted out. Otherwise, there is going to be a lot of problem for so many ET races. At this moment, as far as I know, the reason that I do not have my powers and my full memory and everything is because of the agreements that were done and extended actually a couple of times for the benefit of humanity, because they actually were going to destroy the whole planet and with everybody on it. So basically it was decided that they have been given a couple of times extensions, and the last extension ends at the end of 2023. So in the next 3 years, everything needs to be sorted out. I am 100% certain. And if it doesn't happen, then basically I have the right to do whatever I see fit with them to help humanity. I hope it doesn't come to that. I wouldn't enjoy doing anything drastic. I hope it will be solved peacefully. Hey, but if it is not solved peacefully, I have my orders. Let's put it that way. And I wouldn't hesitate. Because my first duty is to this planet, to the humanity. I took an oath. I chose it myself as my duty, as my assignment. So, and this planet means something else to this universe as well. It's an important planet, let's put it that way. And humanity is a special race in the whole universe, not just the galaxy. So, the ones you're listening, keep that in mind. There's a reason why ETs are afraid of humans. Even in this state of genetically degraded versions of ourselves. Good days will come. There's a little bit more pain left. Trust me, every day is quite painful for me too. I am living everything on this planet, from financial difficulties to relationship problems. Like I have no friends left, no relatives left, nothing. Completely isolated except my little kitty. That's it. Gone, finished. Nobody that I can even talk to. And this is happening to many, many people on this planet right now. Isolation is the name of the game at this moment. Everybody is isolated. Everybody. There is no way to make new friends or to meet people. Like, it's completely isolation. It's a prison cell treatment, like solitary confinement. That's what I call it. So, back to Earth. These families continue, lots of fights. And here we are. Atlantis gets destroyed multiple times. Atlantis is another name of basically a community, a group of nations or a group of lands on this planet. There are other ETs that started coming to this planet after the Anunnaki, and some of them claimed that they came here before Anunnaki, and they had their fights as well. Eventually, the whole human race, the current one, is a hybrid race, and different type of blood types actually explain their ancestry. Some ancestry is Anunnaki and mixed with Anunnaki is from Sirius, basically. They have their past coming from Sirius A star. I don't know if Nibiru also goes around Sirius A, because Nibiru, as far as I know, circles around two different stars. Our sun is only one of them, and the other one, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Sirius A, because everything that we have here on this planet from Anunnaki side comes from Sirius. Even the wolf pack mentality, the wolf genes, the fighting between clans, families, also marrying with in the family, keeping it in the family, marrying your sister to have the next heir coming from your family. So all the royal families follow that still, inbreeding. So that is all from Sirius. There is a reason why Syria is called Syria as well, because of the stargates that Sirius was using. Anyways, that's another part. And there are the parts which are the Nordics, but not all Nordics are humanoid, by the way. Some of them are reptilian. And some Nordics, the ones with the blue eyes, white skin, white hair, or blonde hair, they are the ones who helped actually the Nazis in the Second World War. And they are called the Aryans, the Aryan race. But if you say it a couple of times, Aryan, 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 Orion, Orion, so that's where that comes from, Orion. Who controls our planet today? There are multiple races, multiple power centers. There are like races like Dracos, reptoids, raptors, humanoid and Nordic races, non-humanoid Nordic races, the Greys, so many different ET races, and there are the different factions between them that cooperate or fight as well. The moon is a base for multiple ET races too. There are multiple bases underneath the sea as well. and inside Earth too. There is another story for that, the inner Earth stuff. And the reason that the Earth population right now is kept in this stasis, basically it's a stasis, is that the ETs do not want the human population to know what's really going on, because they are afraid that once the humans are awake, they will basically revolt to the leaders of their countries and eventually take control of the planet themselves and kick the ETs out, which I hope happens as soon as possible. But that said, again, how many people will listen to this broadcast? A couple of. Everything is controlled, everything is suppressed. Especially around me, I'm not allowed to do anything. Like they're keeping me just as an observer at this moment. All of the things that I am telling, it only reaches a couple of people. And we are still being manipulated by electromagnetic waves, even technologies further than that. If you're having difficulty remembering what you were supposed to do today, or what you had for lunch yesterday, is because of these manipulations. Even I cannot remember, like I keep lists because of that. Otherwise, I keep forgetting the most important things. Every day when I wake up, I'm like a complete empty brain. Like, what am I going to do today? I have to look into written documents to remember. It's very, very, very scary. So let's end this broadcast here. It's already quite late, and I hope you enjoyed it. It took a lot of time for me to compile all this information so that you can benefit. And if you like it, if you want to support my work, the information will be in the description of the video. Thank you very much. And for the ones who are watching this, just about I published this on the European or the Asian side. Good night, good morning on the American continent's side. You're just going to go to bed and have a good night's sleep, I hope, and have a good start of the week for everybody, and God bless you all, and God bless this planet. Thank you for watching.